Cold, oh, got it. Sorry. It was a cold mic for a second, but I think we're good to go. Hi, guys. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Pretty good? My name is Becky Baines, and I'm the editorial director and vice president of National Geographic Kids Books. First, I would like to thank the Library of Congress so much for sponsoring this wonderful event. Are you guys having fun? Yes, yes. So if you haven't had a chance yet, I encourage everybody to stop by our booth, which is S3, where you can do some really cool code breaking. There's virtual reality where you can travel to the OML rainforest. And of course, you can meet our author, who you'll be dying to meet after this presentation. So I just want to give you a little background. As an organization, we pride ourselves on bringing facts, photos, fun, and all things animal to kids. Are you guys familiar with our animal books? Yeah? So when we decided to get into fiction, it's not something we decided to do lightly. And actually, this has been 5 years in the making now. But somewhere along the line, we realized that we have all these super cool explorers. We have these amazing adventure stories. We have access to all this really cool technology. And what if we could take all of that stuff and put it in a fictional world where you guys, the kids, are at the center of the action? Does that sound cool? So we had this concept, and we decided, okay, we're going to make this Explorer Academy. And it's a school where kids can travel the world on a ship. They can dive with whales. They can uncover ancient artifacts. They can scale mountains. They can scale glaciers. And you can basically see all that this amazing planet has to offer. So what we needed next was an author, right? You need someone to write it. So we had all this cool stuff, and we needed someone who could take it and intertwine it with super cool kid heroes, top secret missions, ancient codes and ciphers, and of course, a villainous organization who's always out to get them, right? Because you always need a bad guy. So there are so many twists and turns in this story, guys. Once you start reading, you will not be able to stop. So I am so pleased that a journalist turned TV news reporter turned TV weather woman turned children's author actually answered our call. Trudi Trueit has brought awe-inspiring science, tech, and adventure of National Geographic to life in this page-turning Explorer Academy. The first book is The Nebula Secret. Through these fun, funny, brilliant characters, and she created this incredible futuristic world where it all takes place. And once you read it, you guys will imagine yourselves right at the center of the action. And if you guys like what you see up here, I have a secret for you. This book actually doesn't go on sale until Tuesday, but back at the bookstore, we have some exclusive copies that you guys can pick up today, and you can get it signed by our author. Oh, we have one right there. You can get it signed by our author, who will be at the signing booth at 12:30, so don't miss out on that opportunity. So without further ado, I'd like to present our author, Trudi Trueit.
Hi, everyone. Are you having a good time today? Oh, it's so exciting for me to be here and to talk about Explorer Academy. It is a series of 7 books, and the first one will be coming out September 4th, but you guys get it today. And I wanted to start with a little video of why I wanted to write for National Geographic, as if you needed to know, but let's play that. No? No video. Okay, we'll move along. There we go. Okay, so this is me when I was 8 years old, and I might not look like it at the time because, you know, cat's eye glasses weren't that popular, not like they are now. But I loved reading and writing. And how many of you guys love reading and writing too? Put up your hands to see how many. Oh, we have lots of readers. Wonderful. So I started writing plays when I was in the 4th grade. And I realized the power of words over people, that you could write words and impact people and evoke emotion and share your passion, and that's what I started doing. And then I became a journalist, and I worked as a TV reporter for a while, and also a weather anchor. That's why I keep wanting to do this all the time. So I started writing children's books because I would go around to schools and I would talk about the weather. And we would talk about clouds and rain and rainbows and how the weather worked. And I loved talking to classes so much that I decided to write a weather book. And I submitted it, and of course, nobody really wanted to publish it. But Scholastic came to me and said, how would you like to write 4 weather books? And I said, I would love to do that. So I started writing nonfiction. And you may know me, hopefully, from nonfiction books in your library. If you go back to your school library, look up my name and see if you can find some of my nonfiction work. Because I've done everything from animals to health to wildlife to video games. I can even show you how to make things out of popsicle sticks to give your mom for Mother's Day. And along that same route, I also started doing fiction. And I wrote a couple of fiction series. One of them called Julep O'Toole and Secrets of a Lab Rat was the second series that I wrote. And I wrote those for Simon & Schuster. And it was just such a wonderful opportunity to be able to do both fiction and nonfiction. And I did that for the longest time. So when National Geographic came along, it was a perfect opportunity to take what I knew about writing nonfiction and what I knew about fiction and put them together. So let me tell you a little bit about Explorer Academy. Explorer Academy is the story of 12-year-old Cruz Coronado, and he has been accepted into a very elite school for explorers. And he's going to travel around the world learning about all different kinds of issues and things that are going on in the world. He's going to travel to faraway places and talk to animals and get involved in preserving the earth. And he's going to do it with 23 very good friends. And along the way, Cruz has a mystery that he's going to need to solve. And you, as the reader, are going to need to help him solve it because you get to crack the clues and the puzzles and along with Cruz. So now I have a book trailer. Let's see if we can watch the book trailer. Still nothing? No, we don't even have a book trailer. Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. If you go to my website, truditrueit.com, you can watch the book trailer because it is so amazing. All right, so what inspired me to write this series? Well, really, it was the explorers of National Geographic. All the archaeologists and the marine biologists and the scientists of National Geographic inspired me. Now, in the book, Cruz and his friends get to do augmented reality. So you know what that is? That's like virtual reality. They get to go to what's called a computer-animated virtual experience. And they get to explore things without really ever leaving home. And that's how they learn how to train. And so I had to create some interesting things for Explorer Academy. And one of those things that I thought would be fun would be, because I wore glasses as a kid and I still do, glasses that change color and shape with your emotion. So I see a few kids here wearing glasses. Can you imagine what it would be like if you were angry and your glasses got red and started, spewing fire? And I thought this would be really fun to do. And what I found out was that explorers at National Geographic are already doing something very similar to that. There are scientists that are already working on materials that can actually change color and shape and texture based on your environment and based on how you feel. And say if it's raining outside, you can have a coat that automatically opens on its own. So I found some pretty amazing technology is already happening right now. It's not even science fiction. So Cruz has a Honeybee Drone, and her name is Mel. And she goes with him everywhere. And again, I thought, well, this is still a little bit science fiction, but in actuality, scientists are already doing this. They're already developing, you see on the left-hand side, they're already developing tiny drones. And these drones can go into places that people can't go, like for search and rescue into earthquake areas. They're also used for medical purposes. So science and science fiction isn't that far apart. So one of the key elements of Explorer Academy is Cruz's mother was working on a secret formula when she was killed in a mysterious lab accident. And I decided to use what I knew about snake venom and scorpion venom and animal venoms in general as a key plot point because we're using those for medicinal purposes in science. And one of the explorers that helped me with that, his name is Zoltan Takash, and Zoltan is here today. So if you head on over to the National Geographic booth this afternoon, at 2:30 and 4, we're going to do a little presentation together, and he will talk about all things snakes, which kind of scares me a little bit, but I only have to write the material. I don't have to hold the snakes. So a little behind the scenes of Explorer Academy. We tried a couple of different covers, and this is the big one on the right. That's the one we chose based on what you guys liked and what we thought really represented action and adventure in Explorer Academy. And I kind of like that cover too. And one of the things that I do when I write is I tend to doodle the characters. So I have a little bulletin board where I put the characters up. And so those are my doodles of the main characters. And then you can see what our illustrator, Scott Plum, did. His illustrations are much better than mine. And there's lots of illustrations in the book. And that's what's really cool about it is there's plenty of places for imagination. But he's also done a really terrific job of illustrating throughout the book as well. So those are the main characters. There's Cruz as the big picture. And then his friends, Emmett is on the right. Lonnie is on the top. And then Sailor is on the bottom. I also had to draw a boat because in book 2, the explorers head off around the world. So that's my drawing of the boat. And again, take a look at Scott's illustration in the book. So much better than mine. So with Explorer Academy, my goal really was to tell a great adventure story, have you guys be excited about exploring in the world, and finding maybe even your passion, because maybe one of you guys sitting out there is the next great scientist to discover something amazing and to get involved in conservation issues and to make a difference in the world, because the future is really what you guys make of it. So that's Explorer Academy. And do you guys have questions for me? I think we have microphones, right? So if you head out to the side and you can ask questions about Explorer Academy or reading or science. Oh, we have a few questions. Yeah.
Who's your favorite character in Explorers Academy?
Oh, you know, actually my favorite character is the Honeybee Drone, because her name is Mel, and she gets Cruz out of a lot of trouble. So he gets stuck in some places, and Mel comes along and saves him. My human favorite character is probably his best friend, Lonnie. She didn't get accepted to the academy in the first book, so they converse long distance, but she still helps him out of a lot of trouble, and she will eventually be able to make her way into the academy, which you guys only know that first, because most people don't know that. Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah.
What's your favorite book that you created, and is there any competitions?
Is there any competition to, you mean, write the book?
No, where do you get the books?
Where do I get my ideas?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Well, you know, I get my ideas from a lot of places. I'm really a Star Trek geek, and I love science fiction, and I love adventure stories, and then of course I get my inspiration from the National Geographic Explorers. If you go to the National Geographic website,
my friend Alex. Her mom works at National Geographic in Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And one last thing. Who's your illustrator?
My illustrator his name is Scott Plum, and he is from Vancouver, British Columbia, I think. I think he's from Canada. He's really good. I really like his work.
I like mythology.
Yeah, thank you for your question.
So what inspired you to write about the new book?
What inspired me to write what book?
About the book that you were showing us.
What inspired me? Well, there's so many things. I love adventure stories. And so when I was a kid, I used to read all kinds of adventure. I love science fiction. I love I love animals too, so it's a great fun to be able to bring all of those things together and just, you know, have the kids go out on an amazing adventure together and learn about the world and discover new animals And I mean, that's so inspiring to me. What the real National Geographic explorers do, that really inspires me.
The Honeybee Drone,
Yeah.
Mel,
Yeah?
really made me remember something that I read about drones that they're trying to make as spies,
Yep.
pets for people who can't really have pets, like living animals.
Robotics is really
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, yeah. And it's amazing what they're doing in the field of drones, robotics, all the things that, I mean, some of the technology in the book, I use the power of your mind to do things. So there is, they have mind control cameras. So you put a camera on your, like a tiny little camera in front of your eyes, and then you take a picture based on when you say in your brain. We're really actually not that far away from doing things like that. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for your question.
Have you ever wrote a book about the Galapagos Island?
About what? The Galapagos?
Yeah.
You know, I haven't written about the Galapagos Islands, but I have written books about snakes, alligators, turtles, reptiles, octopuses. My biggest book, one of my biggest sellers, is a book on octopuses, and it has all the strange, weird octopuses that are out there in the world. So I love wildlife and I love nature, and one of the Explorer Academy books will be devoted to ocean life. So they just spend the whole time in the ocean, under the water, and I'm hoping that they can swim with the turtles and have a good time doing that, yeah.
Well, I like reading Nat Geo Kids, and I noticed some of your work is in there. I read a sneak peek.
Thank you.
And I'm just wondering, did you write the bits for Nat Geo Kids magazine?
I may have had a hand in writing a little bit of it. I know I did an interview with them, but I think most of that was probably written by the staff, maybe taking some things from the book. We kind of worked together on some of the items. But did you saw the issue that had all of the sneak peek of the Explorer Academy and all that?
Yeah, I really liked that.
Thank you. Well, I hope you like the book too. Thanks for your question.
What inspired you to write books?
What inspired me to write books? I just loved reading as a kid. And so when I was your age, I read and read and read, and I used to bring home a stack of books from the library so big that I could barely fit them in my backpack. And I always have loved books. I didn't always know that I would write for children, but when I got a chance to go visit classrooms as a weather forecaster, you guys always had such great questions, and you were so fascinated and curious that I just had to start writing for children. I just love to write for kids. Thank you. Good question.
How long did it take you to write the book?
It took me about 6 months, and we're releasing one book every 6 months. So I have to keep moving, but the second book will be out next spring, and then the third book will be out the following fall. So about 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Thanks.
What was your first book that you write?
My first book was the one that was up here called Clouds that I showed at the beginning. It was all about different cloud formations and how the clouds are formed. And then I wrote about 3 other books for Scholastic on storm chasing and the water cycle and rain, hail, and snow. So that kids who went to the library to learn about weather, and if you wanted to write a report, you could check out one of my books. So that was the first book I ever wrote. Then I was hooked.
How did you organize your ideas for the first book?
Good question. So what I love to do is I like to outline the story. And I get an idea of, I actually outline kind of where I want each book to go so that I know throughout the series what is going to happen in every book. And then I do a more intense outline for the first book, how I want it to start, how I want it to end, and then where I want the kids to be in the middle of the book. And then you just sit down every day and you write. And sometimes the characters tell you different things, they go different places, they have different ideas than you, and I have to let them be who they are. But it does help to have an outline, because then I know where I want to start and pretty much where I want to finish up, too. Thanks for your question.
Did you get tired of reading books?
Did I what?
Get tired of reading books.
Tired of writing? Oh, no, I never get tired of writing books. I get tired of other things like deadlines when I have to turn the book in and if I don't get it done in time, but I never get tired of writing books. I hope I'm writing books forever. Yeah, I love books. As long as you guys keep reading, we're good.
How much books do you have?
How many books do I have? I have over 100 books in print. I think Explorer Academy is 103, but I'm not sure. I figured I'd stop counting at 100, so. Most of them are nonfiction, but I have about nine that are fiction, and Explorer Academy is the 10th. And I love, like I said, I love nonfiction, I love learning, so it's great to be able to do both. Good questions.
What's your favorite sea creature?
My favorite sea creature? I'm going to go with, it's a toss-up between the Dumbo octopus and the vampire squid. But I like them both. I like octopuses a lot because they're really smart and they're clever and they're creative. And when I was doing my book on octopuses, I'm from Seattle, and I went to the Seattle Aquarium and I talked to a biologist, and he told me just how smart the octopuses were. At the aquarium, he said that they had an octopus named Clyde, and they noticed that the other exhibits around Clyde seemed to be disappearing. The other fish and the crab were missing. And they put a camera on Clyde, and they realized Clyde was leaving his exhibit at night and going into the other exhibits and eating them. And that's when I realized that these animals are really, really cool. And they're very clever, they're very smart. They can open jars. My sister is a diver, and she went diving once, and an octopus came along and took her flashlight and swam away with it. She never saw it again. It just went away. So I love octopuses a lot. I have to figure out a way to get them into Explorer Academy. So I have a couple minutes left. Are there more? Couple more questions? Okay.
What's your favorite part about creating a book?
My favorite part about creating a book really is starting with page 1. I love a blank page because you can, at that point, you can do anything. You can have the characters go anywhere, say anything, do anything, and it's exciting to me to write that first page. I love that part. The hardest part, because I bet you're going to ask that too, is ending a series or ending a book. It's hard to say goodbye to characters that you spent so much time with. Good questions, you guys. Yeah?
What's the favorite book you've made?
My favorite book? Well, I have to say Explorer Academy. It's usually the book that I'm working on now is my favorite book. And I love Explorer Academy because it combines all the things that I love to do in nonfiction and fiction and adventure and science. It's a perfect combination for me. I love doing Explorer Academy.
What inspired you to write books?
So many things. I just really enjoy words. I enjoy telling stories. My parents can tell you I was telling them stories when I was really young, and they were really tired of hearing it, but I just love storytelling, and I love reading. And to be able to do an adventure series is so exciting. I'm, thrilled to be able to do that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
What challenges did you face writing this book?
Good question. There were a lot of challenges in writing an adventure because you want it to be fast-paced, really interesting. You want them to go through a lot of challenges, but at the same time, you want to be able to develop the characters too and have good relationships and good friendships. So, yeah, sometimes it can be a challenge to make sure that you have a lot of action because you don't want it to be boring. But you also want the characters to develop and get to know one another. And so pacing a book can be a little bit of a challenge. That's a really good question. So I want to make sure I'm not going too fast, but I also don't want to go too slow. So you find kind of that middle ground where you're telling the story at a good pace and allowing the characters to develop you know, and have relationships with each other. So yeah, that's always a challenge. Pacing is a big challenge in a book.
How many books will be in the Explorer Academy series?
We're planning for 7 books in the series. And the first book, you know, is coming out now. The second book will be out next spring. And so every 6 months, we will release another book. And right now, I'm working on book number 4. So you can tell where I'm kind of already halfway through the series. So thank you for coming. Do you have closing? Did you say
I was just going to say that I'm so sorry we ran out of time for questions, but Trudi will be at the signing booth at 12:30. So if you have any more questions, she's happy to answer them. And also, she'll be at our booth all day, which is S3. She'll be doing mini presentations up on our stage in there. So feel free to come by and talk to her anytime.
Yeah, and thank you so much, you guys. Come on by, say hi, and let me know what you think. Thank you.